What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I'm joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, how you doing?
Doing fantastic. The news is starting to heat up. It's getting a little bit more fun.
Way too excited for me, man. Take it down a notch. Take it down a notch. So, all right.
76 wins. Okay. I'm good now. I just had to remember how many wins we had, and then I'm good.
There you go. There we go. There's Nate. He's back. He's ready to go. So, guys, with all that being said, thank you so much for watching and listening. Go ahead and play along as this is a game. Just like it's a game. Let's go with that. Just like it's a game. If you're watching us on YouTube, drop some comments. Let us know, especially if you're watching us live here, what you know, what you're feeling, how you feeling with the Angels this slow off season. Winter meetings is right around the corner, and I'm excited for that. So we should get some stuff picking up. But go ahead if you're on YouTube, subscribe, follow us, so hit that bell. I think is also what they say. We say it every time, like we don't know what we're talking about. Well, we kind of do. So hit the bell. Go ahead and follow us on all our social medias, X, Instagram, and Facebook. You can follow myself on X at Jared_Timms, Nate at NateGreen34. And let's get it rolling. Nate, we have Angels news. You excited about that? Big news?
Yes.
You're questioning what I'm talking about because you have no idea.
No. I know exactly what you're going with.
What am I going with?
Well,
the only news there is Angels have a bullpen coach.
Yeah, that's where I thought you were going with it, but I wanted to make sure.
Steve Carsey. Steve Carsey? Is Carsey? Actually owns my favorite. He's one of my favorite cards that I have. I should have gotten it out, actually. I have like a 2002 gold tops autograph, or gold tops numbered out like 2002, whatever it is, and it's signed by him too. So kind of cool. But bullpen coach, I honestly didn't do much research on him, so I don't know if you got anything on him. But if you don't, we can move on to the next thing. If you do have something on him, former player in the bullpen, which is nice. It's not a former player. I think, Bill Hazel was a fantastic mind, is a fantastic mind. But experience is always good, especially in the bullpen, former reliever as well. So
which I think is huge.
Yeah, you don't see, that's actually kind of interesting. How many former relievers do you see as bullpen coaches?
I feel like you see.
Do you see a lot?
I don't know.
You not
catchers and pitchers. Those are the two kind of deals that you see there. But yeah, I think it's good where he's been has been huge. Another good mind. I think that's going to help Barry with what he's doing, and almost like could be an extension of an assistant pitching coach. Like that's how well regarded he is. Not going to be the assistant pitching coach, but like it almost adds like that third pitching background in there that can really communicate a different way, hopefully, which is huge because that's all coaching is like being able to communicate something, hopefully multiple ways. So that way, when these guys are trying to take in information, they're taking it in the way that they like to take in the information. Some people are visual learners. Some people, it just depends on what kind of learners they are, and hopefully these coaches can teach it different ways. So I like it. I think well-regarded guy and really going to help kind of the similar situation with what we saw with the offensive coordinator, like just adding another hitting mind to the team, which I think is huge. I think what Ron has done with this coaching staff has been awesome. And so coaches can only do so much, though. The players on the field have got to be good enough to win games. And, I'm excited to see some of these guys take that next step to get better. But like this team is still a team coming off a 73 win season. So like it needs a lot of work. It's not just, hey, we get a couple guys healthy and all of a sudden we're going to win 85, 86 games. Like this team needs a lot of work. So I'm really excited with the coaching staff, but we do need some pieces to make this team a playoff contender.
Absolutely. And before we move on to some rumors on those pieces, because I know you always want to talk about rumors, looked up Carsey, by the way, was with your favorite team, the Cleveland Indians.
Guardians, but yeah.
He was the Indians at the time.
Oh, well, that's why I said well-regarded, because he was with Cleveland.
Yeah, he was with Cleveland. Went to Milwaukee. Milwaukee had it. Actually, Milwaukee's always, I feel like, kind of underrated. I never feel like they're going to be a good team, and all of a sudden they're a good team. So I don't
They
know.
did just win reliever of the year.
Yeah. So he wasn't there last year. Last time he was there, it was in
But I
2000.
mean, I'm sure he was there with Hader when he won it.
Yeah. So speaking of Milwaukee and the AL Central, Angels are linked to a couple pitchers. I'm intrigued. I don't know if the Angels can do it, but I'm intrigued.
Oh yeah, they could do it.
They
They're
could.
just going to give up all their players.
John Heyman reports that the Angels are sniffing around. I guess would be the right terms. I don't have the exact quote, but interested in Dylan Cease and Corbin Burns. I, as well as you, are also interested in Dylan Cease and Corbin Burns. They're very good pitchers.
Always.
Always interested in those type of guys. I don't think the Angels have enough to go get them. I think that if you didn't see the Angels rapidly
So that's not
promoting,
entirely true.
what?
They have enough, but
You
they
haven't.
don't have enough to actually be a good baseball team with getting them. Like,
That's fair. You know what I mean? You could give up
would
you could give up
Would
Neto.
Milwaukee do Reed Detmers and Zach Neto for Corbin Burns? I think so.
Yes.
Does that make the Angels better? Absolutely not. But you have enough pieces, but
yes,
the
fair.
pieces that you're going to give up aren't worth your time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
realistically, you don't have the pieces.
If you talked to me at the beginning of last season, I would have been like, yeah, like do it. You got to kind of go. You got to kind of go all in a sense. And we talked about this all season. You know, we talked about it at the beginning of this offseason. All the way, let's say all the way up to the deadline is when we talked about it. Like if the Angels would have went all in to start the season, which they didn't, to prove, you know, to Shohei Ohtani that they wanted to win, prove to the fan base they wanted to win. Not really Shohei Ohtani, but prove to the fan base they wanted to win. They could have done that. They should have done that, right? If you're going to go over the luxury tax, just go all in and do it. And go try to win a World Series. You had Shohei Ohtani, you had Mike Trout, on paper, you had a decent team. You had some guys. Hold tight. On paper, you had a decent team. You had some holes, but you could have gotten better at those holes, right? Like we talked about it. You could have went and gotten a shortstop if you wanted to. Like if you really wanted to go all in, you could have went and gotten Trey Turner or Dansby or one of those shortstops that were available. You know, if you really wanted to, you could have went and got more pitching. The Angels didn't go do that. So like now we're at this point
Tyler
where
Anderson was a steal.
Yeah, well, okay, we can talk about that all day, but now we're at the point where it's like, okay, well now you're kind of in the middle. Are you selling? Are you buying? You have a decent young core. What are you going to do? You got money to spend. You don't really have a farm system to trade for major league players and get better, right? Like in the minor league system, the Angels don't have the pieces to go get those to go get either one of those guys, in my opinion. You might be able to throw together 10 players and then they'd say yes. But again, they have the pieces. Do you want to give up a Zach Neto? Do you want to give up a Logan O'Hoppe? Do you want to give up a Nolan Shanwell? You know, a Chase Silseth, a Reed Detmers? Like they've built a nice, decent young core. You got to start building around it. You can't give those guys up to try to be good, you know, this year and next year when this, again, and I'm going to continue to preach this, I don't think this next year is the Angels window quite yet. So would it be nice to get a pitcher like Dylan Cease or Corbin Burns? Absolutely. Are they in the spot to do it? No. However, if they have a really good offseason, we said this before, we wouldn't mind. Like if the Angels have a good offseason, which would include spending $1 billion going and getting Yamamoto. You say you go get Shohei Ohtani, like you go get the best guys in the market, right? Hypothetically, like
I think going to get Yamamoto and an outfielder and Tim Anderson or someone like that at second base, plus another quality outfielder, whether it's a Teoscar Hernandez, whether it's a Jung Ho Lee, you're
talking about having a perfect. You're talking about having a perfect off season, and you're bringing up every good player on the market right now that's still left. Like it's just.
I didn't bring up Cody Bellinger. I could have, but
yeah, no. Again, like if the Angels went out and they spent $1 billion,
it's probably $500,000, but
you get
$500 million, but yeah,
you get what I'm saying though. Like if they went out and spent that amount of money, then sure, like go out and make a trade to go get Dylan Cease and Corbin Burns, but like it just. For me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to continue to dig into a farm system that, first off, is non-existent. You don't have a very good farm system right now, because all those guys that are young, you've already brought up. I mean, hypothetically, you could say a Zach Neto is still in the farm system. I mean, he played the Nolan Shanwell, Logan O'Hoppe, those type of guys, if they didn't make their major league debuts last year, still in the farm system, but now they're contributing to the major league team, which the Angels have had trouble with in the past. You really want to trade those guys away for 2 years of Dylan Cease and 2 years of Corbin Burns? I think
1 year, 1 year of Corbin.
1 year of
Burns.
Corbin Burns. For me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. If you're in the hunt in July, Corbin Burns makes a lot of sense. Like, we'll be talking about Corbin Burns in July if the Angels are in the hunt. But right now, for me, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
And you're also missing one big piece to the puzzle.
Anthony Rendon?
No,
I don't know who you're talking about. So go.
I wasn't even going to mention another player. I was just going to mention that the Dodgers are interested, and the Dodgers have more. They have way more prospects and way more high-end prospects than the Angels.
Are the Angels matching? Are the Angels going to match?
They can't like the only way you can match the Dodgers is like throwing in Detmers or Silseth and O'Hoppe or Neto, and let's just throw in
who they talk. The Angels aren't.
You get my point though, right?
Yes.
Like, in order to match one of those teams, you're going to have to pay out of your mind. It's not just going to be like, oh, hey, the Angels gave up Detmers for Corbin Burns straight up. Like, no, because the Dodgers would offer Sheen and
I don't think the Angels can get better this next year and match a James Outman. I think it's James Outman. Or a Shaheen. Yeah, I just don't. The Angels can't match that unless it's Zach Neto, Logan O'Hoppe, or Reed.
But even if it's like the Dodgers, if they want Corbin Burns, they can go get him. Like, it's not going to be out of their price range, and the Dodgers are not the only team in this market. So. Yeah. That's the scary thing is, you have Atlanta who's interested in a starting pitcher. Atlanta has more prospects and they're deeper than the Angels as well. So, like, it's not really realistic. Like, you can be interested all you want. I think if Corbin Burns were to be on the market, there's probably 29 teams that are interested in him. But at what price? And the Angels probably don't have what it takes to get him compared to some of these other teams. So it's great that they're throwing in this. And I think some people have to remember the Angels get thrown in a lot of rumors because Artie Moreno likes to spend a lot of money, and they're in Southern California. Like, they're always just a good, like, hey, we're going to throw the Angels in that mix. Whether the Angels are interested or not, it just makes other teams like, oh, the Angels are interested. Okay. Like, we have to be a little bit more, we have to do this a little bit faster than maybe we thought, because nobody thought the Angels were in on Albert Pujols. Like, we've seen Artie do things so quickly and quietly that when the Angels get brought up, these teams kind of freak out a little bit, and then maybe it drives that price a little bit up for that team. So the Angels get used as kind of a bargaining chip, not necessarily like, hey, they're actually interested in fill in the blank.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. For me, it's a no. The Angels just aren't in that spot. I mean, it's the same thing with signing just Shohei Ohtani. It's the same thing with going and buying last year. The Angels just aren't in that spot right now for me. That this is not their window. Like, the window is not open quite yet. Now, talk to me next offseason. I'm probably saying, hey, like, Angels probably go look at Corbin Burns. Talk to me the season after that. Angels probably go look at Dylan Cease. Right now, doesn't make a lot of sense to me, especially to trade guys. So a little bit of fun here. Moving on. Last topic of the day before we let everybody go. I asked it on Twitter. I'm going to ask you. I think this argument becomes a little bit fun. I know we're on kind of the same page here, but it opens up some interesting ideas because I left this question a little bit open-ended. Would you rather sign Trevor Bauer or trade for Javi Baez?
Yep. And I'm going to start the question with, what am I giving up for Javi Baez? Am I like, who am I giving up to get him? How much money am I paying him? Am I paying his full contract? And if I am I getting anything in return? If I'm only paying him $5 to $7 million, who am I giving up? Am I giving up a Luis Rengifo? Am I giving up a Griffin Canning? Or am I giving up like a Mason Erla or someone like that? Like, I kind of need to know what I'm giving up, and then I kind of need to know what the price is on Trevor Bauer, because if Trevor Bauer is signing for 1-for-1, no matter what you think of him as a human being, 1-for-1 is really hard to sit here and be like, well, 1-for-1. Like, if he even pitches half as good as you think he is, like 1-for-1 is worth it. If I'm
Yeah.
giving him 25 million for what he is in the clubhouse and what he is like as an on-field presence and things like that, I'm probably out.
Let's make it more.
Especially when I can give Blake Snell 25. I'm not a big Blake Snell guy at all, but like I would rather have Blake Snell at 25 million than Trevor Bauer at 25 million every day.
Yeah, and I agree with that. So let's make it a little bit. Let's make it a little fun here, since
Okay.
I know you don't like Trevor Bauer. Let's say Trevor Bauer. What's a fair contract? 1-for-7 for him? Would you do one for
I'm thinking realistically he gets like
1-for-15?
1 for 13 to 15, like
Okay,
Luis
so
Severino money.
that's fair.
Severino signed for
say that.
13 today with the Mets, so I'm
So,
thinking
so
he's going to get.
let's make the pot super sweet and say Bauer signs 1-for-5. Baez, okay, Baez trade though. You take on his contract because you know good things are coming here. I know he's been a bad player. He's owed 93, 98 million or something like that over the next 3 years. 3 years, 4 years. It's actually, I don't think it's too bad of a contract. At the end of the day, you get Jackson Jobe and you get Jackson Jobe and you get Casey Mize and you give up Patrick Sandoval.
And that really puts you in the right. That really puts you in the right window with Job and Mize.
I know. That's why I'm making it hard on you, because I know, like realistically, like I'm doing anything I can to not have Trevor Bauer in my clubhouse, right? Like we both think, and then this is just pure speculation.
It's 4 years at 98 million for
4 years at 98. Like it's actually, when you think about it, he's been bad. He was put in the position. I'm gonna say this because I know you want to say this. He's been put in a position in Detroit where everybody thinks he's a superstar. You put him on a team where there's other superstars. You got Anthony Rendon. You take him, not that necessarily he's in the big limelight, but you take him out of the limelight. He's not that guy that they're expecting to build around. You put him at second base. You let him mentor in a sense.
6 in the lineup.
Hit 6 in the lineup. Exactly what you said. He's not a leadoff hitter. He's not a 3 hitter. He still might bat 240, 250. He's hitting 25 home runs. He becomes worth that contract. Plus, you're getting a guy like Jackson Jobe. We love.
He typically plays good defense. Yeah, Jackson Jobe is unbelievable. Like that guy.
Jackson Jobe.
That kid could be like he's an ace frontline starter. He is the real deal.
Yep.
Casey Mize is a good pitcher too.
And then you get another starter off that because you need a replacement for Patrick Sandoval. So, and then but 1-for-5 for Trevor Bauer. You don't know. I mean, what if he returns to that 2020 form and is really freaking good, and you find a way to keep him out of the limelight, because Angels do a really good job at that. Actually,
I don't think you can keep him out of the limelight. Who of the I will say it, even though you won't. You give Sam Blum a microphone and get him near Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer's going to say something stupid.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie.
That's no dig at anyone. That's just literally the facts. So there is no way you're keeping Trevor Bauer out of the limelight. Like the Angels are not going to be able to be like, hey, Trevor, like you're signing for 1-for-5. Stop doing your.
He doesn't want to be out of. That's the thing. He doesn't want to be out of the limelight.
No.
But also, like, the Angels have done a good job of keeping guys, like not in the media. I think they've kept, like, when does Shohei Ohtani talk to the media?
Anthony Rendon
decided not to talk to the media, right?
And still got hammered by the media. Like, it still became a story. So
signing Trevor Bauer might help Anthony Rendon, really, like, because everybody's going to go to Trevor Bauer, right? So
it probably would. I think Trevor Bauer's better off signing with a team that's
the Kansas City Royals.
I wasn't going to say Kansas City Royals. I was going to say it's a team a little bit more competitive, like almost like Tampa Bay, where like he's not good. Nobody really goes to Tampa Bay to go do interviews, things like that. Not any disrespect to Tampa Bay, but like you just don't really go there for interviews. Like if he goes to New York, if he goes to LA, if he goes to the Angels, if he goes to the Rangers, like he's going to be in the media way too much for what he needs to do. He needs to keep his head down. He needs to pitch well and just kind of, he can talk his trash like quietly, but like if he's on the radio and doing interviews and all these things, it'll be a nightmare. So for that, and I know the 1 for 5 is amazing because like he has a shot to be a frontline guy. But with where the Angels are at and where their window is, like Casey Mize, you're getting him for another 4 years, I believe it is, maybe 3 years. This could be his first year of arbitration. You're gonna have him. You're gonna have Jackson Job, along with Detmers and Silseth. Like that rotation is going to be pretty fun. And then you go get a dude to like really cement where this rotation needs to be. Like you find a Yamamoto, you find a Corbin Burns, you find someone like that, and it's like, oh hey, this rotation's like legit, instead of like, well, it's just 5 guys. I like the upside with Javi Baez. I know people are going to be like, what upside is there? Like, he's been so bad with Detroit. You go back to his Chicago days, and he was a good player. Like, he wasn't a superstar. He wasn't an elite player, but he was a good player. He plays really good defense. He has that flash. And I think if you just kind of let him do his thing and not like, hey, we're counting on you to hit 40 bombs. We're counting on you to hit 290. We're counting on you to be a superstar defender at shortstop. Like, hey, we just want you to be part of the team. You know, we're not expecting you to be like a top 5-10 player. Kind of like I feel like the Tigers were expecting him to be, and it just didn't make sense. So with the package I'm giving up, I'm willing to take the risk on Javi Baez just because he fits an immediate need. He can play second base. He can also help Zach Neto kind of because they're both kind of little flashy players. They're actually kind of similar players. Obviously, Javi has a little bit more swing and miss than Zach does, but like from a defensive standpoint, from like a personality standpoint, they're pretty similar. So I think with him on this team, this can make it a little bit fun, and you're getting a young controllable pitcher, and you're getting a guy who could be an absolute superstar on the mound in Jackson Jobe. And I think Jackson Jobe, if things were to go perfectly for the Angels this year, Jackson Jobe's in the big leagues in August. Like if the Angels are in playoff contention and they need an arm, Jackson Jobe is ready in August. He's that good. So I'm willing. Neither of these are really realistic. I don't think the Angels are in on either of these guys. But if I were to have to pick, and it was like, hey, you got to pick one of these 2 guys, I'm willing to take the risk on Javi Baez just because I don't think he's as big of a clubhouse guy. And people are going to point to, oh, Mookie Betts says he's a good clubhouse guy. This and this. They're not going to go out and trash the guy. It's just not really what major league players do. They don't really trash each other, no matter what guys think of each other. Like even Garrett Cole won't trash Trevor Bauer as much as he probably wants to. He'll trash him a little bit, but like he could easily just tell everyone how much he hates him and this and that. But like when the Yankees were looking at Trevor Bauer before he signed with the Dodgers, it was like, if he makes the team better, it's fine. So that's just not really how Major League Baseball works. They don't really trash each other and say like, oh yeah, he's a terrible teammate. Like you don't really hear too many guys say that about guys.
Yeah, it's not the NBA. So come on, a little chuckle there. And like the not the NBA thing. Courtesy laugh.
I mean the NBA is a joke. So
yeah. So I like I said, I don't know if it'd be a Sandoval. I threw out a random name there. Like as I was looking through and seeing, what it could be, I think, you could probably eat a little more salary off his contract as well. He's been pretty bad. But regardless, for me, I already said it, like I'm doing anything I can to keep Trevor Bauer out of the clubhouse. I'm not as good as Trevor Bauer is and can be. I am not. I'm sorry. Like I think the Angels have had enough clubhouse issues that Trevor Bauer and Anthony Rendon combined is kind of scary. And not saying that Anthony Rendon's a bad clubhouse guy, but like, like if he's doing what he does to Sam Blum, and he's talking like that. So I don't know. That's my thing on there. I would totally be in. I think we said it for a while. Like we've been in on Javi Baez at at any contract, 4 for 93 or whatever it is that he's owed, 98.
98.
98. I mean,
And
it's
you
a
would
lot.
only be paying it, like
And
according to the deluxe tax, he's only worth 23. So I know that math doesn't work out to 23, but based on the luxury tax, he'd be worth 23.
average annual
And then
value,
if the Tigers are paying anything like that, then it would go down from there. So to throw 23 on this, like, not terrible. Obviously,
it's at least an idea, and you're getting a prospect or two back in it. I think you
if
like,
you're getting a guy who Casey Mize was the number 1 pick in the draft, Jackson Jobe was the number 6 pick,
a Matt Manning type of guy, like you probably get somebody like those guys back. Jackson Jobe, you get somebody like that back. I don't know,
4, 5, 6.
I mean,
he was top 6.
You're not getting a Tark Scoot, or you're not. I don't think you're getting Scooball or somebody like that. You might be able to, or Torque or anybody like that, but I don't know. Kind of fun
Torque
conversation there to have. So, you got any final thoughts? Anything on Jose Suarez or anything like that, man?
I mean, we're always rooting.
We're not. You are.
The people that know are rooting that way. Jaime Barria signs with the Cleveland Guardians today. Minor league deal, kind of what I expected him to get. And
I'm going to say he puts up a higher WAR than Gavin Williams next year for you.
Deal. You heard it on the show right here. We're making the bet. It's a gentleman's wager. Actually, we'll make it a $5. We'll make it a $5 bet. You heard it on the air.
I'll take
Gavin Williams is mine. He will have a higher WAR than Jaime Barria. It's done. The viewers are on it. They're my witness. So at the end of the year, I honestly think Gavin Williams only made like 10 starts and had a higher WAR than Jaime Barria this year. But
to be honest, he probably made 10 starts and had a higher WAR in this season than Jaime Barria has in his career. And you can look that up, and it's probably pretty close, to be honest. So, guys, with all that being said, thank you so much for watching and listening here at Talking Halos. You can follow us on all our social medias, X, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow myself on X, Jared_Tims, Nate at NateGreen34. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.